A couple months ago, I played 100% of the game Bugsnax, and it was a wild ride.
What is...
I'm going to remove my head.
Oh god.
Oh my god, no, 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 no.
Throughout our journey, we investigated the mystery of Bugsnax, creatures that are half bug, half snack, and only found on Snacktooth Island. Or so we thought. In my time there, I caught every Bugsnak, explored mysterious shrines and ruins, made lifelong friends with the grumps on the island, and also witnessed the emergence of a brand new island filled with a bunch more Bugsnax to catch and a mysterious temple at its center. Where did this island come from? What kind of dangerous secrets does it hide? And really, why can't we just get along?
Invent your own wisdom, you sagacious charlatan.
We'll be chasing the answers to all these questions and more as we 100% the Isle of Bigsnax DLC. Now, in the aftermath of the Snackpocalypse last video, we had seen Snacksburg in absolute ruins, so being plopped back in, my first priority was to revisit my humble shack. Wait, I must know. It's back! Oh my gosh, in all its glory. It's so beautiful, and the bunger bed? It was a relief to see Snacksburg in all its former glory, but we wouldn't be here long because we had some business to attend to, and this began with recruiting Triplicate, Floofty, and Shelda for our expedition to Broken Tooth Island. This definitely wouldn't be a walk in the park though. We hadn't even stepped on the raft yet, and Shelda and Floofty were already fighting. But with a party of me, Chandlo, Shelda, Floofty, and Triplicate on this dinky little raft, Snorpy decided to stay behind.
Don't worry, I'll be in radio contact the entire time. And I've got trackers on at least 3 of you.
Awesome. I hopped on board and we voyaged to Broken Tooth Island, landing in some sort of corally alcove. Oh, whoa. We quickly discovered that the radio signal was terrible and our communication with Snorpy was completely cut off. So we set off by ourselves to explore this new land, and I kicked it off by using my good old trip shot to activate this bridge.
Last one across is a rotten eggler.
Oh, it's you! After navigating Sprout through this intricate maze, I'd opened a door revealing an expanse of jungle with an ancient temple right in the very middle. We were all eager to get exploring, but Chandlo and I got quickly distracted by the sight of our first Broken Tooth Bugsnak.
You seeing what I'm seeing? It's bunger time!
Like Chandlo said, this thing was huge. A chungerbunger, if you will. And it sent even the swollest of our forces flying. Where'd he go? Oh no! Are you okay, Chandlo? In getting yeeted by the chungerbunger, Chandlo had uncovered some kind of grumpish shrine containing mysterious purple powder, and without really knowing what it was, I just chucked it at the bunger, miraculously shrinking it down to its normal size. And using the trip shot and a bit of ketchup, we'd caught our first Bugsnak on the island, the Bunger Royale. Stepping off a boat to explore strange new lands can be a pretty daunting task, but that's especially true in the world of today's sponsor, Mirthwood. Escaping a continent devastated by violence and chaos, you flee by boat to the Freelands. Sounds oddly familiar. You begin a new life in a fully fleshed out medieval world, and there, you can be whoever you want to be. Good, evil, somewhere in between. I'm personally starting off as the disease-resistant, romantically challenged rat catcher, and with 6 distinct regions and a sprawling open world full of quests, NPCs to befriend and insult, and pets to take on your journey, there is genuinely so much to explore. And the choices you make have direct consequences on the world around you, too. Inspired by the likes of Fable, RimWorld, and Stardew Valley, Mirthwood was developed by just 2 people. And with a bunch of free DLCs coming up and extensive plans for expansions and updates such as modding support, co-op multiplayer, and console releases, Mirthwood is going to be a great time. To begin your journey in this fantastic world, check out the link in the description down below, and a huge thank you to Mirthwood for sponsoring this video. And with that, let's get back to Broken Tooth Island. With Chandlo's nose replaced by a burger, we set up a base camp and discussed the giant Bugsnax and strange shrinking powder we'd found. Interestingly, these early discoveries riveted everyone in a completely different way. The shrine appeared to feature Mother Naturae, Shelda's specialty. The ancient ruins were obviously right up Triphanie's alley, and our resident gastroentomologist Floofty was intent on studying the strange shrinking powder. Also Chandlo was there.
If this island can make Big Bunger, can it make Big Chandlo?
These 4 research interests represented the 4 quest lines we'd be following throughout our time on Broken Tooth, so I got right to it. To start off, I spoke with Triplicate, who mentioned a maze blocking the path deeper into the jungle, and Floofty, who needed a sample of the shrink spice, as they called it, to study its properties. Honestly, the shrink spice seemed way easier, so I retrieved a container full of it to dump in Floofty's trough, and then casting all bioethical standards aside, dumped another container straight onto Floofty.
The goggles. They do nothing. Ugh.
Are you okay? Very questionable methods for a scientist, I will say, though it is consistent with Floofty's previous endeavors.
I'm going to remove my head.
Next, Floofty asked me to transform a Cheddaboardle and Millimochi with the shrink spice and feed it to them, so we began our first real voyage into the wilderness. I spotted the Millimochi first, and upon sprinkling it with some spice and shooting it with fire, I was able to catch all 3 segments. The Cheddaboardle was proving difficult to locate though, so instead of tracking it down, I decided to continue on with my exploration and take a look at all the new Bugsnax. I actually stumbled across another maze door, and with some fancy footwork from Strabby, we revealed a massive room with a pilobite inside. Before tackling that creature though, I kinda wanted to get this spagiter I saw in the tree outside. It's like a little spaghetti spider goblet. I love it so much. And using my trip shot, I was able to get the spagiter down, shrink it, and then lure it with some chocolate, nabbing our second Bugsnak. The pilobite turned out to be way trickier though. Before even catching it, you actually had to yank their protective cover off, similar to the pinkle. But this guy was much more aggressive, and as soon as I managed to remove it, I was punted into the air. Fearing for my life, I retreated back into the cave and realized there was actually a lot more here than I initially noticed. There were beds, a bonfire, signs of some kind of early Grumpus civilization, and upon activating this doorway, I also found a strange triangular hallway with a key at the end. Triangular key? I had no idea what the key was for, but I had a feeling that it was somehow important for getting to the bottom of this island's mystery. Having pocketed that, I continued looking around and stumbled across this massive crater with an ancient egg cracker at the center. It was so inviting and also really ominous, but I needed to see what would happen if I put an egg inside. What the heck is that? Okay, deviled eggler? Not what I was expecting, in all honesty. With the help of some cold millimochis and shrink spice, I was able to get myself a deviled eggler.
Deviled eggler.
This wasn't the only Bugsnak in the egg pit, though. I'd also spotted this Takata masala flying around and looking for eggs. As it turns out, these snacks were attracted to hot sauce, so I sauced up a Bunger Royale, which was picked up, swiftly dropped, and proceeded to punt the Takata into the water. Yeah, a very calculated move on my part. Right. I shrunk the curry insect down, and with the bunger's help again, got a Clobsteroni shortly after. Honestly, I was having a great time. I really like the catching mechanics of all the new Bugsnax, and they're just like little cuties. But my brief survey of the Bugsnax on Broken Tooth Island had yet to reveal the Cheddaboardle Floofty had requested, so I returned to base camp to follow up with Triffany. And coincidentally, after using Sprout to crack this wall puzzle, whoa, a massive sphere of cheese came rolling out. In all honesty, a terrifying experience. My heart goes out to Indiana Jones. The little guy wasn't scary at all though once I shrunk him down, and pushing it out of this hollowed out log, I was able to catch it. Okay, let's go feed this to dearest Floofty.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. While we were there, I also fed them a Millimochi, which was disturbing in its own unique way. But through this snackification, Floofty concluded that the shrunken versions of Bugsnax here were no different from those on Snacktooth Island. Very curious. Also, super random, I was just thinking this. If you were a grumpus, which Bugsnak would you eat, and what part of your body would you transform? I'm quite partial to the Scorpeno hair. I feel like I'd kind of slay that. I don't know. Anyway, for the next phase of their research, Floofty requested that I catch a chocolant for them to study due to their small size relative to the other snacks on the island. Before setting out to do that, I also decided to speak with Chandlo and start working on some of his quests as well. He wanted to test his big Bugsnak, big Chandlo theory by horking a Clobsteroni to get even more swole. I actually already had one too, though it did very little for his physique. Unexpectedly though, in the face of failure, Chandlo said something surprisingly mature.
You know what, bro? I'm just gonna admit to myself that it's not gonna work and move on.
Oh, well, alright. Honestly, I never expected Chandlo to give up so easily, especially with something related to his gains. It broke my heart a little bit, so I suggested that Chandlo and I just take some time to hang out and shoot some hoopable orange sport orbs. It was first to 5, and considering Chandlo was the athlete of the group, he kinda sucked. This is upsetting for you. I thought you were like the sports guy. I sank my 5th basket, winning by a wide margin, but with our little hangout over, Chandlo declared it was time for him to return home to check on Snorpy.
How about this? I'm gonna need some big energy for the trip back. You get me 2 of the biggest, strongest Bugsnax on this island, and I'll stick around till I'm fueled up.
Of course, the Pilobite and Selly Sticks were the 2 I hadn't yet captured, but I was in no rush to see Chandlo leave. So I returned to my exploring and followed up with Triffany, who was glad to be away from everyone's arguing. Together, we explored the room I'd found earlier, which turned out to be a communal living space for an ancient Grumpus society. And at the very center of this civilization, a temple in honor of Mother Naturae. Naturae. Get it? We headed to the temple to investigate, opening the doors to the biggest maze I'd seen yet. What is this? Sprout and I had trained for this, and slowly but surely, we made it all the way through the maze. It was honestly quite a letdown though, because after all that effort, we were faced with a massive pile of rubble blocking our path that seemed to be related in some way to the ancient egg cracker. But despite the archaeological importance of this temple, Trifany's conflict avoidance shined through. She was adamant that she could clear the rubble herself and insisted that she didn't want anyone's help. All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. Good luck with that, and goodbye. As Trifany toiled away by her lonesome, I refocused on catching the Bugsnax Chandlo had requested, namely the Selly sticks. I just got stick bugged! I shrank the Selly sticks and lured it over to my trip shot. Ah! Gotcha. And shortly after, did the same to Pilobite. Nice, nice, nice! We did it! While I was in the area, I also secured a chocolate for Floofty's studies and then returned to camp to drop off my new catches. But instead of the usual satisfaction from a good meal, Chandlo was apparently in need of some spiritual guidance.
Hey, Shelda, can I get some of your wisdom?
Why am I here? As I awkwardly sat in on their little session, Chandlo expressed his worry about Snorpy's paranoia and anxiety.
I've known Snorpy all my life, but it feels like he's getting further away from me and I just don't know what to do.
One does not want one's words to be misinterpreted when one says, that boy needs therapy. Chandlo, you are strong and wise and wonderful, and you can do everything to support him. But you cannot fix him. Understand?
What is this? Shelda giving actually good advice? This feels so foreign. After that little heart-to-heart, Chandlo said he wanted to hear Floofty and Trifany's perspectives as well. So I flagged down Floofty and sat in on their private conversation about Snorpy's worsening condition. A very serious subject that I had great trouble focusing on. I just can't deal with the way they look during this serious conversation. But this conversation dug way deeper than expected. Floofty told us that they and Snorpy worked together on a secret government project meant for nefarious purposes. Snorpy tried to play whistleblower, but in his attempt to do so, was fired, defamed, and discredited, this being the root of all his conspiratorial thinking. But still, Floofty was firm in describing Snorpy's paranoia as delusional and well beyond the reality of his situation.
All right, Floofty. Thanks for telling me all that.
Following that rough conversation, I dropped off a chocolate for Floofty and then cleared out my inventory by dumping a bunch of Bugsnax in Shelda's box of purity, which she will definitely not eat, I'm sure. Also, absolutely adore the fact that she brought this with her all the way from Snacktooth. Fantastic. But having made good progress with Chandlo, Trifany, and Floofty's research interests, I felt it was finally time to humor Shelda's.
One must see what lies within those supposed shrines to Mother Naturae.
Shelda's first request was to take a look into an untouched shrine, and apparently there was one right along the river, so I followed her there. According to Shelda, these shrines to Mother Naturae looked exactly like the ones she'd grown up with, but this one was different, corrupted. The Mother Naturae she'd grown up worshipping was pure and saw Bugsnax as toxins, but here, Mother Naturae was the bringer of Bugsnax. A difficult contradiction to reconcile, but for Shelda, one thing was clear.
The toxin must not be consumed.
You're doing great with that. From the shrine, we walked over to the huge crater again, which, according to myth, was the aftermath of the Mother's wrath, an attempt to purge the toxins and the followers who had strayed.
Destroying followers who stray? That isn't the Mother I know. She's not the bringer of Bugsnax either. The ancients can't even get their story straight. So what am I supposed to believe?
With no clear path forward in her spiritual journey, Shelda chose to meditate, and to facilitate this, she needed me to crack 3 eggs. Absolutely no idea why. Honestly, if I was trying to meditate, I would not want a journalist running around cracking giant eggs with an ancient spoon, but hey, gotta get to 100% somehow. I did as she asked, yoinking the Swigiter's egg and hauling it over to the egg cracker, and shortly after, picking up the other egg from earlier as well. Don't. Oh no! Oh, just kidding, we're fine. Having hatched all 3 deviled egglers, Shelda finished her meditation, and evidently, the path was clear. She needed to know what Bugsnax were, whether they were creations of Mother Naturae or not. And to do that, she needed a Takata masala. Lucky for me, I'd already gone through the trouble of catching one, so I dropped it off in her box of purity.
Thank you. I swear I'm not going to eat it this time.
Right. But I mean, Shelda actually seemed pretty committed to uncovering the truth about Bugsnax, so I pointed her in the direction of another truth-seeking grumpus pursuing the same goal. You can ask Floofty.
Floofty? Are you out of your grumping mind?
Eventually, Shelda came around to the idea of asking Floofty for help, so we were back at the campfire for another conversation.
I want to know the essence of Bugsnax. What is it they're made of?
Just like that, with their research goals aligned, the long-standing conflict between these two grumps transformed into an odd sort of partnership. And it went both ways, too, because upon examining the chocolate I'd donated, Floofty had reached a roadblock. Hello.
Blast it all! I do not need your distractions. I've obtained dried particles of plant slurry. I have no way to analyze them.
Plants were obviously not their area of expertise, but lucky for them, literally Shelda's the only person that knows anything about plants.
If Shelda knows the secret of the shrink spice, I will eat my bow tie.
Back at the campfire, once again, Shelda agreed to help Floofty discern the contents of the shrink spice.
One will enter the olfactory realm to find the answers you seek.
Waft, don't sniff.
I know that.
Waft, don't sniff. Despite even more unsafe lab practices, Shelda was able to identify some key ingredients in the shrink spice, including witch hazel, cinnamon, and black tea, all of which had anti-inflammatory properties. But most importantly, she'd sniffed out the oil of vitriol, also known as sulfuric acid.
That certainly explains the burning sensation.
Floofty, did you tell the journalist to throw acid at you?
Well, this has been surprisingly not a waste of time. I am going to leave now. I may call on your services again.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Floofty said they'd eat their bow tie if Shelda could identify the shrink spice ingredients, so still waiting on that. But with Floofty and Shelda's scientific collaboration in full force, I headed back to the temple to check in on Triplicate, who I assume has been working away at these rocks the whole time. Not looking too good, Trif. I decided to gently bring up tackling the issue as a team again, but she was still against the idea.
Look, some folks just don't get along. Some mysteries just go unsolved. There's nothing I can really do about it, but at least we gave it a shot. I'll see you back at the camp.
What? No way. We have to get through here, right? That certainly was not the response I expected from Triplicate in the face of a potentially massive archaeological discovery. On the bright side, though, now that she was back at camp, I could finally get her to speak with Chandlo.
What's going on, Chandlo?
Shelda said Snorpy's lost in a maze of delusion. But what if it's not a delusion? What if there really is a Grumpinati?
Triplicate offered her informed opinion and said that there was no such thing.
Look, there are points of data on that chart that are real, but it's all those strings between them that are made up.
No, those are real. We got them from Gramble.
Although this seemed to answer Chandlo's questions, it didn't make him feel any better.
Bro, I feel like there's a huge weight on top of me, and it's not the kind I can lift. I'm gonna stay here until everybody's ready anyway. I need some time to just think.
With all our investigations either finished or inconclusive and only one Bugsnak left to catch, we all gathered around the campfire to share our findings. First off, did Chandlo grow big from eating big snacks?
Not physically, nah, but I did grow in, like, a metaphorical way.
King. Shelda confirmed that Bugsnax were the creations of Mother Naturae, but the corruption of the island and the ancients who once inhabited it were not her doing. And based on their study of shrink spice, Floofty confirmed that Bugsnax were actually normal-sized by default, which meant something on the island was causing them to grow in size.
There is no why, Floofty. Things simply are.
Using my words against me. Invent your own wisdom, you sagacious charlatan.
Why are they so savage? Oh my gosh. I thought we were friends now. Oh, we are. And contrary to all expectations, Triplicate came to the meeting with nothing. No crucial findings, no answers about the temple, only a collapsed hallway stopping all progress.
I believe we may have a solution for that. My combined research with Shelda has produced something quite useful indeed.
Oh yeah! Floofty asked me to build
Don't ruin the surprise. Trust me, it will be very entertaining.
I'm so nervous. Together, we all headed to the temple, and upon arriving, I was instructed to pull out my Strabby hamster ball and turn around. Are they gonna eat Sprout? They're gonna eat Sprout!
Keep it still or the needle will... Ow! There we go.
Oh? What is happening back there?
You may now turn around.
Feast your eyes on the new and improved Big Buggy Ball!
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's so strong. Oh, Strabby, no!
Problem solved. You are all very welcome.
I followed the others into the main room and surveyed the statues and murals, as well as the sealed well at the very center, which was apparently the place where grumps were sacrificed. Okay, Triffany, so what's your assessment? Triffany was obviously a bit out of her depth here and offered up some flimsy theory about fertile soil, but she was quickly interrupted. Chandlo had found some kind of contraption that bore a striking similarity to Snorpy's lunch pads and was perfectly sized to fit Gigantamax Sprout's buggy ball. I don't want to open the sacrifice hole. So with no other choice, I loaded Sprout up and launched him straight through, blasting open the pit.
The disturbance is emanating from the sealed pit.
Ready yourselves! A grave danger approaches!
Bros, I get the feeling I'm about to get dunked on again.
No! Sprout! This massive plate of cheese, the Cheddaboardle Rex, absolutely yeeted my precious Strabby. Luckily though, Sprout's hamster ball and these Chedorbs were the exact same size, so I was able to bait the Cheddaboardle Rex into loading one up for me and shot it back at him, ever so slightly cracking his glass cover. Before we could use the shrink spice on this big cheese, we'd need to break the glass completely, but in the heat of the battle, something on the ground caught my eye. No! Floofty! Oh wait, never mind. Floofty's breathing. We're okay. My entire adventure party had been knocked out, so it was fully up to me to defeat this handful of violent cheeses. This is not good. I managed to get another hit in with my cheddar trebuchet and then another, but retribution was swift. Don't smash it, don't smash it! With just one more Chedorb to launch, I'd done some pretty significant damage to the glass cover of this walking cheese platter, but suddenly, the walls dropped, revealing what appeared to be lunch pads mounted sideways. I set up my own mini lunch pad to get the Chedorbs up there, but that turned out not to be necessary, seeing as the Cheddaboardle threw his cheesy brethren right up there for me. Go! Deploy! On my second and third attempts, the Cheddaboardle blocked my attacks with these massive boulders, but the next time around, I loaded up the Chedorb, waited out the rocks, and deployed, hitting the Cheddaboardle square on the noggin. He seemed dazed for a minute, but then turned straight toward my direction. Oh no. Oh no. Sprout! Sprout is back. As the Cheddaboardle smacked me over and over, I tried to navigate Sprout through the most elaborate maze we'd faced yet, loading Sprout up on another lunch pad and hurling him at the glass, finally destroying the Cheddaboardle's protective case. Yes! The cheese is free. Okay, gotta get the powder. Where's the spice? Where's the spice? I found the spice. Cheddaboardle Rex! Chandlo is awake.
I better eat that thing before it bulks up again.
Oh, right. I replaced Chandlo's pecan schnoz with a new cheddar nose.
I don't know if it's the adrenaline talking, but that's the best bug snack I've ever had.
He was dead like seconds ago. Thankfully, everyone was all right, but defeating the Cheddaboardle Rex didn't give us the answers to why the island popped out of the sea in the first place. Still, if there was anything we knew for sure, it was time to get out of here. It looks as if we've gotten every bug snack here, so I guess we might as well go back. And we got the Deep Impact achievement for completing the adventure at Broken Tooth, which officially brings us to 100%, but we still have the key to investigate, so there's a little bit more, I think. Snorpy greeted us on shore, and after such a long and dangerous journey on Broken Tooth Island, we were all relieved to be back. But before I had even a single moment to rest and relax, oh no. Is this mail quests? You're kidding. There were some more quests to get done, but thankfully they were mostly gifts for my contributions on Broken Tooth Island, including a couple statues, a certificate of completion, a golden Strabby for catching every type of bug snack, and finally, this mysterious letter. To quid edas omne vivum ex Bugsnax. You have what you need to enter a very special place. If you do not know the way, Grumpbeard will show you. No idea what that means or who Grumpbeard is, but before investigating any further, I put out my golden Strabby and my certificate. Official bug snack completion to Buddy. Signed, Philippa. With my many snackalades on full display now, I got back to work on the remaining mail quests I had left. Purging a Spagiter for Shelda, retrieving Chandlo's lost item on Broken Tooth, and then running around all of Snacktooth, gathering every bug snack that contained chocolate to give Chandlo a confectionery makeover fit for a king. Beautiful. This left just one single mail quest left to complete. To feed someone 13 cheese-containing bug snacks. It was truly a grind to collect all these bug snacks, but I was more than happy to bestow them into Chandlo. I figured he was the only one who got to taste the Cheddaboardle Rex on our Broken Tooth adventure, so it was only right. And with that, we had officially done it. For real this time. I'm pretty sure. The mail quests, they just keep appearing, I swear. And this left just one more loose end to explore. So for the little key we found, found, we got this message saying Grumpbeard will show you the way. Never heard of him. Part of me thinks maybe it's like it sounds like a piratey name. Maybe it's the ship, the pirate ship? That one. That has to be it, right? I didn't find anything in the ship except Floofty's old stuff, but when I tried to launch myself on top of it, I stumbled across something I'd never seen before. Where am I? Wait, what just happened? Did I just launch myself out of bounds? The Triplicate Space? This is concerning. Old tape recorder has been abandoned for decades.
Aren't you an intrepid little journalist coming into this secret hideaway just to ask questions of the first stranger you see?
Okay, that's not concerning at all. Hearing these tapes was eerie for sure, but in an instant, all the pieces came together. These recordings weren't meant for me. They were actually interviews conducted by none other than Clumby Clumbernut, my editor and boss at the Grumpus News Network. Just like me, she'd investigated the Bugsnax and Snacktooth Island, but when she came across the Triplicate Space, the Grumpinati recruited her to prevent the information from getting out. This was why she was so hesitant to let me investigate Snacktooth Island, and ultimately, why the story never came out. Snorpy was right. There was a conspiracy afoot, and I was right in the middle of it. I walked down this triangular hallway identical to the one where I'd initially found the triangular key, and pressed this triangular button. As it turns out, the voice on the tape recorder was Alligander Jamfoot, junior archivist, crypto-snackological researcher, and part-time barista, who was recruited as a snackolite to monitor this triangular relic. But this wasn't just any relic. It contained a gauntlet of puzzle room challenges, beginning with these strange Grumpus statues. Essentially, we needed to turn all the statues so they were facing the same direction, and it took a bit, but eventually I was able to solve it. Jamfoot explained to me that they'd unlock the secrets of the 3 queens and would be duly rewarded, but in all honesty, I was super distracted by this big window that had opened up. There we go. Oh, wow. Is that the Mega Maki? That's so sick. Whoa. Jamfoot continued on, describing the first queen as wrathful and full of vengeance. The second queen was benevolent, and through her, the Bugsnax were pacified. So it turns out Shelda was right. Mother Naturae was both pure and cruel because they were 2 different people. And the third queen, I think we already know how that turned out. As I entered the next puzzle room with this big triangular pendulum in the middle, Jamfoot confirmed what we were all coming to realize. The Grumpinati's real?
We are the Snackolites.
Oh, Snackolites. My bad, my bad. The Snackolites were descendants of the individuals from Grumpbeard's final voyage who vowed to keep the threat of Bugsnax a secret until they could be brought under control. And ultimately, the pendulum in this room opened another wall, revealing the room where Jamfoot had lived, full of scrolls, notes, Grumpbeard's flag, and triangles. There's a lot of triangles, like everywhere. This is crazy. There were so many little clues here to the bigger picture of the Bugsnax lore, and upon returning to the central room, I found this mural which seemed to be a prophecy of the events that had happened on Snacktooth Island. An individual would fall into a pit of Bugsnax and emerge their queen. With everything we'd learned, there was just one door left to open in the Triplicate Space, and behind it, I found the rarest of the Bugsnax in the entire game, the Cappuccino, otherwise known as the fastest snack alive. I've named him Joey Quickbeans. He is my best friend. I have been here for a very long time. What do I... Good morning. Okay. Oh my gosh. So I have to catch this? This is the final Bugsnak? This thing's freaking fast! I rushed outside and spotted Mr. Quickbeans absolutely zooming around a boiling bay. How do I catch it? It's really fast. Wow. My first priority was to scan it, and apparently Joey Quickbeans loved chocolate, so I tried out the classic trip shot covered in sauce just to start us out. But this little guy was extremely clever and literally did a backflip to avoid it. My next idea was to cover a crapple in chocolate and just hope that the Cappuccino would stop to lick it, allowing the crapple to incapacitate it, but that one very poorly. Whoa! Oh, what's going on? How is he okay? Still though, I felt like this was a really promising idea, so I gathered a bunch more chocolate sauce and spammed it near the crapple as the Cappuccino approached. What's happening? Is it working? I'm really confused. Did it? The Cappuccino! Yes! We did it! The final Bugsnak. Let's go back to Snacksburg, I guess. And I know just the person to feed the Cappuccino to. Dearest Filbo. Why does it have 2 handles? That looks so much weirder than I thought it would. Wow. There he is.
A wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Okay, well, I guess that's the end. Or so I thought. This is Real-Time Charlie here. As I was editing all of this footage, I realized that I actually missed a single voice recording in the Triplicate Space. Not only did this earn me a letter from Clumby with like some funny little items in it, but we also heard this.
I've been watching your expedition with great interest. I'm afraid that Bronica Lottablog has gone somewhere that you should not follow.
Bronica Lottablog, otherwise known as the grandmother of Triffany Lottablog. There was actually a full storyline I didn't end up including in my first Bugsnax video where Triffany asked me to help her find out what happened to Bronica because her family had never figured it out. In the end, I found what seemed to be her remains, but Triffany sampled them and deduced that it wasn't Bronica at all. At the time, I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy, but now, knowing what we know, could it be that Bronica is the true third queen, not Lizbert and Eggabell? I am desperately hoping for a sequel where we can possibly learn more, but for the time being, I guess that's just a mystery unsolved. And there you have it. We explored ancient temples and mechanisms, caught all the new Bugsnax, and unearthed the secrets of the Snackalites and Broken Tooth Island, all to turn Filbo's head into a coffee cup. It was a truly wild adventure, and between fully 100%ing the game, repairing Grumpus relationships, and uncovering the history of the Grumpinati, I'd say we didn't do too bad for one little journalist. Well, that is all I have for today, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would absolutely love to have you here, and it means a bunch. All right, with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye!